how to make a budget for beginners. I'm going to show you in a way that is not overwhelming and will help you succeed financially. You have to know where your money is coming in from and where it's going out. Have you ever got to the end of the month and been like, where did all my money go? A budget is going to help you solve that and give you the control you need to succeed. And guys, this channel is all about personal finance, so please consider subscribing if you want to learn more about how to be smarter with money. What a lot of people do, and what I used to do also, is only look at, okay, I'm bringing in about this much money per month and I spend about this much money per month, so as long as I make more than I spend, I'm good, right? As long as my bank account doesn't drop below a certain number, I'm good, right? Not exactly. That's only going to be enough to help you stay afloat, and we don't want to just stay afloat. We want to be wildly successful with money because we can. And I guarantee you, when you do a budget, there's going to be certain things that surprise you about where you were spending your money. For me, I was shocked at how much I spent on groceries every month and going out to eat. A lot of people think of budgets as something that's very restrictive, especially for me. I'm a natural spender. People think because I talk about personal finance that I'm super frugal, save every penny type of guy, but I'm actually not. I enjoy spending money on things. Like, it actually makes me happy. But what a budget can actually do is give you permission to spend. I know if I budget $200 for entertainment this month, I just gave myself permission to spend $200 on entertainment and not feel bad about it because I know it already fits within the budget. So a budget can actually bring you freedom. And come on now, if you're a natural spender, you know what I'm talking about, hit the like button down below. Budgeting has also never been easier than it is today. There's free apps that you can download right now. For me personally, I use the app called Every Dollar. It's completely free. I'm not getting paid to say that. You can download it from the App Store. There is an upgraded version if you want to spend, I think it's $10 a month. It'll link your bank accounts. Personally, I don't. I just use the free version. And I think it's the best budgeting app right now. Usually what I'll do is when I'm at the gym, I'll open up my banking app and my Every Dollar app, and I'll just plug in my expenses from my banking app into my Every Dollar app. And it takes about 2 minutes and I'm all caught up and I can make sure everything's still going good. If you want something more hands-on, more handwritten, I'll put a link in the description below for a budget planner, or you can just go to Excel and make an Excel spreadsheet, just print out at the beginning of each month and fill out your expenses as you go. And comment down below, let me know, are you using something to track your budgeting right now, and what is that? There's two parts to a budget, what's coming in, what's going out. The what's coming in part is your income, your salary, your bonuses, your commission, your overtime, if you have a side hustle, any sort of way that you get money in. And I'm gonna do it on my phone and I'll put it up on the screen while I do it. So what we're gonna use for income is gonna be the average household income, which right now is just over $61,000. So we're going to plug in the after-tax amount, the amount you actually take home after taxes are taken out, your take-home pay. So for someone that makes that much, it's going to be about $1,900 if he gets paid every other week. So we'll plug that in. And we'll say that he also has a little bit of a side hustle where he's mowing yards on the side, and that brings in another $200 per month. So he has about $4,000 in take-home after-tax income to work with, and that's going to be our first part of our budget. The second thing we're going to move on to is the essentials. In other words, the stuff where you need to pay this to survive. And I'll show you, we'll go through the categories. So like your mortgage or your rent, right? So that needs to be, we'll call that $1,200. Obviously, you need to pay that every month. Water, we'll say $40, and we'll put in $50 for gas. Electricity, we'll say $140. Trash, we'll do $25 per month. Gas for your car, that's pretty important. We'll say that's $120. And again, guys, this, I know some of you are going to be like, it's more than that, blah, 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 or it's less than that. I'm just doing this on the fly, off the top of my head. For some people, it's going to be more for different categories. Some people, it's going to be less. And for car maintenance, we'll do $100 a month. Groceries, you obviously need that. We'll say that's about $200 per month. Phone is pretty much essential nowadays, I would argue, in order to have a job and to maintain communication with them. Entertainment is definitely not. Insurances, that's something important that people look over. We'll say this guy that has a job, his health and dental is included at his work, and then life insurance, we'll say is $30 a month. Auto, mine's about $60. Home and renter, about $10. And again, I know some of you live in a bigger home or whatever, it's going to be more money. Second place we want to start budgeting for is going to be our debts, okay? If you have any sort of consumer debt, personal debt, anything like that. So for average Joe here, we'll say he has a $300 per month student loan. The third place we're going to move to for your budget is going to be our giving category. So if you give to a charity, if you tithe to a church, if you just give a gift to somebody, so we're going to say 10% of his salary, which is $4,000, 10% of his take-home pay, so he's going to give $400 a month. And then the fourth place you want to move to is going to be your investing category, okay? So this is absolutely crucial. Do not skip over this step, especially if you're younger. Start sooner. I cannot tell you enough to start sooner, start giving more sooner. So for investing, the minimum I recommend is going to be 15% of your salary. So if he takes home $4,000, the minimum he should be doing is about $600 per month. Your investing is going to be anything such as like your IRA, your 401k, 403b, TSP, any sort of employer plan you have in addition to your individual retirement account. If you have any questions about how to open up that sort of thing or where to start, just comment down below your question and I'll answer it for you guys. The fifth place we're going to look is going to be our savings. This is different than investing. This is money that, as you can see on the app on the screen here, you have your emergency fund. So everyone should have an emergency fund or some type of rainy day fund. I recommend 6 months of expenses so that if you lose your job, something bad happens, your car just blows out, something like that, you have a good 6 months to keep going or pay for a damage. That way when emergencies do come, they're not really emergencies, they're just a bump in the road. So once you have that funded, so that should be first, getting 6 months of expenses. Once that's funded, then you could do what they call sinking funds, or you can just call it like a saving fund. If you're saving up for a car, for a vacation, a house down payment, a house renovation, just start a category for that. Start a line item for, let's say he's going to save up for his next car. And he's going to do, let's say, $120 a month towards a car. And then vacation, he's going to do, let's say $200 a month he's going to save for vacation. And that's basically what a sinking fund is. So just set aside money every month, and whether you use it $200 every month for a vacation every month, or you just pile it up until it hits a certain number, or you're saving for next summer or whatever, you have that money set aside, earmarked in some sort of savings account for something specific. This is important. Don't miss this. You want to have an assignment for everything in your savings account, for every dollar. So like I said, you have your emergency fund, which for a lot of people is going to be like 10 grand, 15 grand, 20 grand. Just set aside. You do not touch that unless it's emergencies. Your other savings in your bank account should be designated for something like a vacation, a car, a large purchase. If it's just sitting there, it's going to end up getting spent on useless stuff. You need to give it an assignment. Being intentional is what's going to make you wealthy. So any money that's sitting in a savings account that's not designated for something, you should be investing. You shouldn't just let it sit in your savings account making less than 1%. That's pretty much nothing. Put it in some sort of brokerage account, invest it in an index fund or something like that, where you can actually, your money can make money while it's sitting somewhere. So the sixth place you're going to move in your budget, because we have $365 left, is going to be your optional expenses. So this is going to be like the fun money. So internet will call $60 a month. And restaurants, so we're going to do $100 a month, let's say $120 a month towards restaurants. Clothing, we'll do $50. Again, some people it's going to be more for different categories, that's fine. Entertainment, so this is going to be like your fun money. Like for me, it's like golfing, or even if you like buy a book and you enjoy reading like I do, this is going to be your entertainment category, and we'll do, let's say $100 there. And by the way, I put a link in the description to all these videos for the best financial books that I highly recommend. So you can just click that link down below if you want to check that out. Miscellaneous category is important. So this is going to be like a catch-all category. If you notice that you're, like, say you had to buy something random off Amazon, you throw it in your miscellaneous category, it's $30 or whatever it is. If you notice that you're buying the same thing over and over again, or it's like a Target like shopping fund, you need to create a separate line item for that. It's not miscellaneous if you're buying it every single month. Miscellaneous is just like odd end type things. that you can't really plan for. So we'll use the rest, $35. So there we go. The optional expenses category is going to be where you pull money from if you're over on another essential type item. So say your gas or your groceries end up being $50 more that month. So what you're going to do is, instead of pulling from like your retirement investing or something that's slightly more important on the scale, you go back into your app, and if gas ends up being $50 more that month, now we're $50 over the budget. So now where are we going to pull that $50 for to balance this budget? It's going to be from the optional expenses that we talked about. So we're not going to go out to eat as much, so we'll bump that down to $100, and we'll just say we're not really buying any clothes this month, $20. And boom, our budget is balanced again, and that's what the app can do. So it's an every dollar budget. This is called a zero-based budget, where every single dollar has an assignment. So at the very end of the budget, there's $0 left. You know exactly what's coming in, and you know exactly how much is going out towards expenses, investments, and things like that. If you notice as you're plugging in expenses that you run out of money, so it says that you're over budget, this is called living above your means, and this is going to cause a lot of stress and disaster in your life. And this is why people go into extreme amounts of debt or go broke or things like that. It's because they're living above their means. So this is where you realize you need to dial back certain things and pull back from those optional expenses. If you get to the end and you have money left over, this is a good thing. This is called living below your means. The first place we're going to apply extra money to is going to be our debt. So like Average Joe had student loans, any money left over, we're going to start hammering out those student loans. And this includes your mortgage too. So you don't have to be as aggressive for a mortgage as you do like credit card debt, student loans, any sort of personal type loans. But we're going to start to put extra money on our mortgage. If you take out a 30-year mortgage at $300,000, you're going to pay over $150,000 just in interest alone. We want to chop that down. The sooner you pay off your debt, mortgage or credit card or student loan, the less interest you're going to pay on it, and the sooner you're going to be able to keep that money instead of paying a bank. And if you're keeping that money, you're going to have more money left over to spend on fun things. Come on now, somebody hit the like button if you want that. So let's say Average Joe doesn't have any debt because he paid that all off. So we'll take out the student loans. He has $0. So he has $300 now left to budget. So where is the second place we're going to put that money? Investments, guys. You can't go wrong with investing more money. It's a great place to start if you want to retire early or retire better off than you live right now. So he's going to put, say, $700 towards investing instead of $600. The third place that you're going to put extra money is going to be that optional expenses, that fun money type stuff. So we'll put more towards a car because he wants to buy a nicer car because he can, because he's saving more money. More towards a vacation. We'll say that Average Joe can do some subscriptions now. So do Netflix, $15 per month. And then we'll do Spotify, $10 per month. He's going to have a gym membership, $25 per month. And he still has $60 left to budget. So we can just throw that $60 into entertainment, we'll say. So he's going to have $160. And again, we're back to $0 left over. So every dollar has an assignment. It's about being intentional. Personally, where I put money in my budget when I have extra left over every month is first usually towards my mortgage, because I have a 15-year mortgage. I want to pay that off as soon as possible. I don't want the bank to own my house. I want to own it. The second place is investing. I do a lot more than 15%, usually more like 30 to 35% in investing. And then the next category, just like I talked about, is more fun money. I'll go golfing more. I'll go to a nicer restaurant. I'll go out to eat more that month. So guys, once you start having expenses, once bills start coming in and stuff like that, just open up your app, open up your spreadsheet, wherever you're keeping your budget, and just start writing down those expenses, plugging them in, and keeping track. It's not as hard as it sounds. The first 3 months are going to be the hardest because you're not really sure how much you spend on certain things. That's okay. That's fine. Just adjust things throughout the month as they go. When you realize your water bill is more like this much per month instead of what you thought, just make slight adjustments. And the same thing if you have a regular income. Start with the basics, with the essentials, and just make adjustments throughout the month depending on how much you get paid and how much is going out. Thanks for watching, guys. My videos are all here to help you be smarter with money, so please consider subscribing and hitting the bell to be notified of my video that comes out next week. It's like following someone on Instagram. And if you want something more personalized, go to timwolf.com. You can sign up for a one-on-one session today.